Today in the show, it's part 2 of looking at Madoka Magica. So in the last part we talked about all the magical girls other than Madoka, and in this part we're going to be talking about Madoka herself and Kyubey. As of the last video, these are just my opinions, these are just what I got from the series. If you got something totally different, then that is fine. Just because you got something totally different to me doesn't mean you can't learn from what I've got to say. Just like it doesn't mean that I can't learn from what you've got to say. Also, I would just like to clarify, I don't do surface level symbolism. I do dig deep in there and get something out of it. Surface level symbolism is nice occasionally, but really it's kind of very boring for a video like this. So Kyubey, the rabbit cat alien incubator thing that takes a girl's soul, turns it into a soul gem, knowing that girl will turn into a witch, and all of this creates an energy that can save the universe. However, Kyubey does not tell the girl about the whole becoming a witch thing. So what does he represent other than a little bastard? Well, actually, that's not entirely fair. Kyubey is just doing what he believes he has to do, what his whole race believes they have to do to save the universe. They saw a problem, they found a solution, and they're just utilizing the solution. And the incubators do kind of work with the humans, like witches one day will essentially kill all of humanity, so that's kind of a byproduct we're going to get into in a minute. But they have helped humanity progress quite a lot. The incubators just saw the potential that human emotions had, particularly the emotions of teenage girls, where you feel everything so intensely all the time. Without the incubators, it is said that humanity would still be living in caves. We would still be in the Stone Age. There is so much going on with Kyubey, way more than people give him credit for, and we're just going to go on one aspect of him today. But one aspect that we're not going to get too much into that I really find very interesting is that he doesn't feel emotions. He doesn't know how to be an individual. We as humans can't even imagine what that's like. So from Kyubey, I definitely knew that he represented something current in this world, something that's very, very important. Why else would he be given the antagonist role? That's usually something that's current in our world and something that's very important. And then I kept looking at his character and I realized, Kyubey represents corporations. You might be confused as to what I mean. Well, let me explain. Kyubey turns girls into magical girls, and then the magical girl becomes a witch. And once that girl is a witch, she cannot come back. She is never coming back by any stretch of the imagination. All of these girls create an energy that the incubators use to save the universe, meaning each individual girl is an unrenewable energy source. The byproduct of this energy is the girls becoming a witch and doing harm to those around her. So let's put that into perspective for our current world. The magical girls are fossil fuels. We use fossil fuels to power our entire world these days, knowing it will harm the planet. We also can't keep using fossil fuels because they're unrenewable, and we're kind of running out, which is why so many people are getting solar panels these days, which by the way is a green thing and you should probably get solar panels if you can. Our planet is headed in a direction where it cannot sustain life as we know it if we continue to use fossil fuels. But in the corporations' eyes, there's much more to be gained by continuing to use them. And by much more to be gained, I mean they can get a lot more money by continuing to use fossil fuels and not switching over to solar panels. So the universe to the incubators is what power and money is to corporations, and anything that has to fall in the process for both of them does not matter. However, there is one major difference. Unlike corporations, which are genuinely evil and should be caring and they really just don't, incubators just cannot care. They don't have emotions. The bottom line of it is that the incubators represent something that's very current in our world today. A group of people going out for themselves and not really caring about the repercussions of their actions, regardless of how extreme it may be. But then there are so many things going on with the incubators as a whole, and we'll probably get into that at another time. So Madoka, the title character of the show. the girl with countless timelines all wrapped around her, and every time Homura went back in time, Madoka would become more shy and way more quiet. Then, when the series ends, it is confirmed that because of Homura's actions, Madoka had the ability to change the entire universe. So once again, there are a number of surface level things going on here, like quiet people usually end up being the most successful. But we're not really focusing on those, we're going to go for something a bit more deeper. For the sake of this video, we're going to look at the Madoka from the timeline that starts at the beginning of the series, although we will bring up the other Madokas as well. So in the beginning of the series, Madoka was very shy and very quiet, and she let other people make decisions for her, although this was done very subtly in the beginning of the series, like letting her mother choose which ribbon that she should wear. As the series went on, this kind of thing happened again and again and again. Like when she told Mami that she wanted to be a magical girl, Mami's all like, well, if you can't think of a wish, you're just gonna wish for a cake. And had Mami lived, Madoka would have probably just wished for a cake. Then you could see the moment that Sayaka went a bit insane, Madoka began to change as well. She began to change for the better. Then by the end of the series, Madoka had changed so much that she took the stand and wished for no more witches to exist, which changed the way that the universe worked. Because of this, Madoka stopped existing and became a concept, but because she was now a concept, she could see all possible timelines and was able to see that Homura was probably the best friend that she could ask for. Madoka for me represents the fact that you can't do what you're supposed to do with your life or what you want to do with your life until you take personal responsibility for your actions. Madoka let everyone else tell her what was what instead of trying things out for herself, which is a horrible thing to think about, but everyone did it. Homura, Sayaka, Mami, her mother, Kyubey, everyone. But what was nice was at the beginning of the series, we actually open with Madoka's mother making a decision for her. Then at the end of the series, we see Madoka standing up to her mother being like, no mum, there is a thing that I have to do. I'm going to go and do it. Please do not stop me. And that was really nice to see, and it was the first time that we really saw Madoka stand up for herself. Then once she became essentially a goddess, she was able to tell that Homura was the best friend that she could ask for, which is so true. You can only tell who's important in your life once you start taking personal responsibility for your own actions. Just a heads up though, if you use the phrase "threw me under the bus" more than about once a year, you probably don't take personal responsibility for your own actions, which is something you can work on. And the fact that she becomes a goddess when she takes the stand just represents you can become truly enlightened in your own life if you take personal responsibility for your actions. And it's something that everyone has to learn to do, but very few people actually bother learning how to do it. Like I said, there is so much going on in this anime, and we just do not have the time to cover all of it, as much as I want to. But if you want an anime to better yourself as a person, definitely watch Madoka Magica, particularly Madoka Rebellion, which is what we're going to be talking about in part 3. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. What do you think you could learn from Madoka and Kyubey? Please let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more anime videos. And also don't forget to support the show by checking out my Patreon, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my gaming channel. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Anime, and it is super effective.